is David Jeck, Superintendent of Fauquier County Public Schools, with another exciting edition of One Hard Question. This week's question comes from Donna R. And Donna R. asks this: the main purpose of high school is to prepare students for the next steps in their lives. For those with the opportunity to attend college, whether it be 2 or 4-year school, they will most definitely be faced with having to prepare, study, and take final exams. Please explain the logic of letting students be exempt from these exams in Fauquier County Public Schools. Could there be another way to reward good students that go to class on a regular basis? This policy is most certainly not preparing them for the rigorous academics of college. Many good students that go off to college will never take a final exam will never have taken a final exam by the first time they step on a college campus. Another confusing side of this policy is the result of 6 students continuing to come to school when they should stay home. Why would we want to encourage this? Thank you, Donna R. I'll deal with the second part of the question first, because this is actually an excellent question, and you all took me very seriously last week when I said keep those hard questions coming, because this is a hard question. It doesn't have an easy answer, but I'll tackle the second part first. If your child is sick, please keep them at home. We do not want to encourage students who are sick or their parents. We want them to keep their children at home, please. This is one of the reasons why the county went from or it added excellent attendance to the perfect attendance award. You can get excellent attendance or perfect attendance, and we don't view, and I certainly don't view, taking an exam as a punishment. So if a student is absent a lot as a result of illness and he can't be exempt for exam, I don't necessarily see that as a negative thing. But bottom line is, if your child's sick, please keep them at home. Now, the second part of the question reminded me of my days as a high school principal, because this came up every year. Because like most high schools, including the 2 high schools I was principal of, we did have exam exemptions for things, for grades, discipline, attendance, and things like that. If you did great in those areas, you got to exempt. Couple things, and this is a little complicated, and there's no simple answer because it's a complicated issue, but let me just say this. First, in my view, students in grades 3 through 12, they do take exams. They take 34 SOL exams, minimum of 34 SOL tests / exams. And those tests are summative evaluations of students' attainment of the 1,865 SOL standards here in the state of Virginia. They are summative evaluations, and there's at least 34 of them, and that's a lot. Second, there are, at the high school level, midterm exams every 4.5 weeks, at the 4.5 week mark, of each term. And students are required to take those midterm exams. So they are an exam, and they're obviously not a summative, they're a midway point exam, but they do require preparation. I think that's a good thing. Last but not least, and this may be a little controversial, I'm not trying to offend anyone here, but if any parent feels strongly about the need for their child to take an exam and prepare for an exam, then you don't have to allow the exemption. In other words, you don't have to sign off on the exemption for your student to be exempt from an exam. You can require your child to take the exam. And I'm sure our high schools will work with you to that extent. Your high school student may not like it very much and may be upset with you, but they'll get over it. And as I said, if you feel strongly about it, then by all means require them to take the exam. Now, I'm saying all this with the understanding that this is an issue that comes up every year. It's an issue with a lot of merit, but those exam exemptions relative to attendance really encourage students to come to school, to be at school, especially 11th to 12th graders who sometimes get senioritis very early on in their high school careers, like both of my children did. It really encourages them to be at school, to be in attendance in all of their classes. But of course, the flip side of that is they don't have necessarily that experience of preparing for an exhaustive exam that they'll be taking of the sorts that they might be taking in a college. So it's sort of a complicated subject, but I would also point out that in our comprehensive plan, the ultimate goal is that all of our seniors will complete capstone projects, which I think is absolutely great. And it's in line with all these things we've been talking about relative to 21st century skills and students actually producing something, authentic evaluations of their knowledge and their ability to master the standards. I think that's a great model, and I hope we have that sooner rather than later. So not an easy, this is a tough question, which is why we thought one hard question. So keep the questions coming. And again, I look forward, I appreciate your participation, and we'll continue doing this all year long. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you're getting something out of it, and keep the questions coming. Thanks very much.